John Rappaport back in the fourth hour, sitting in for Alex. There were about six different ways I could have gone today, and I'm still maneuvering here because here's the deal, folks. I've been around the reporting game for over 30 years, so I've known lots of reporters, some editors, people who work in the mainstream. What are they doing? What's their psychology? First of all, their talent spotted. You understand what that means? Somebody picks him out and says, this kid is fairly smart. He's kind of bright. Let's bring him in. It could be good. And he believes what we want our people to believe already. He believes in globalism. He believes that we're all one happy, sappy global village. He believes that parents should be taking care of their own kids if the state wants to intervene. He believes that communities should be planned by the United Nations if necessary. People live in tiny little spaces and so forth, kick people who are living out in so that migrants can live there. He's already on board, all right? This is key and crucial. They bring these people in. They can smell them a mile away. So can you. So can I. So can they. Guy walks through the door. He's 24 years old. He's got a master's degree from, Jerk University. And, oh, yes, very good. Sits down, and right away, the editor who's interviewing him or the personnel guy at the New York Times or wherever it is, sniff, sniff, sniff. Yep, I can smell this guy is a liberal, which means he's really a globalist, and he's a communist, and he's a socialist. And he doesn't even have to know what that means, the reporter. He just thinks he does, so that's what we want. And then he can write articles from the angle that we want him to write articles from, and that's how the game works. How do you think universities over the last 40 or 50 years have become so stacked full of socialist idiots and scum? I mean, real scum. Scum from here down to the ground. These are the people who are saying there's no such thing as the individual. The individual is extinct. There is only the collective, and everything is for the good of the greatest number of people and so forth. And, blah, 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 blah. Students' parents are paying, whatever it is, 50 grand a year for this, or the student is taking out a loan that he'll never be able to repay. The university is soaking the kid because they can, because the government is guaranteeing the loan program. It's a total hype. It's a joke. There is no more education, higher education in America. It's gone, except in a few technical fields. It's absolutely gone. It's done. What has taken the place of it is globalists, socialists. They meet, you see. And the people that hire those instructors and professors, they can smell them too. Oh, yeah, I get that whiff of strong socialism from this guy. Yeah. And he's kind of nasty. And he looks a little bit like George Soros. So we like him right away. He's kind of a frog, somewhere between a frog and a monitor lizard. Good. This is the guy we want. This is the guy we want to teach the young in this country. Work, a job, a paycheck, supporting yourself, being responsible. Never heard of it. That's the old world, folks. The people we're hiring to teach at the universities now, we can smell them. They are utopians that are going to bring us into the paradise of equal sharing for all, everything for nothing, blah, 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 blah. And of course, for kids, that's great, right? I mean, they already have a lot of things. They have a cell phone, they have this, they have that. Yeah. Okay, so the promise of, you don't have to work. Why should you work? Who wants to work? Just coast along on the consumer goods of society that will be dealt to you because you're entitled from birth to them. And you're now part of the elite because you're actually in college. Doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't add up to anything. You're not learning anything. You're not becoming smarter. You're actually becoming dumber. But it's the status of being in college and becoming a graduate, which you will if we have to push you out the door with a certificate. Doesn't matter what you learn. This is all a covert op that is now completely out in the open at universities, at media institutions, in government. Who do you think is working all these bureaucratic jobs that mean nothing in government? You think these are people who are self-reliant and really want to get ahead on their own hook and have a vision of the future of what it is that they want to create for themselves? You really think those are the people that are working at federal agencies and state agencies and city governments as bureaucrats all over the country? No. They're collecting up the people who don't want any of that. And yet will say, well, I have a job. Yeah. I have a perpetual job, and that's good because I don't really have to do anything. Why should I do anything? Why should I go out on a hook and actually earn by my own efforts a living? No, we're all against that. That's gone. That was some crazy idea a long time ago. We've rejected all that. It's called capitalism, free market, whatever. It's a hard thing. It destroyed the world, except we, the globalists, rescued it at the last minute. And now we thought we had gotten back on course completely with Hillary Clinton, but she just fell apart, couldn't handle it. So now we really got a problem because whoever this guy Trump is, he's not her. Whoever this guy is, however big an egotist he might be, whatever his real agenda is, he's not her. He's talking about crazy stuff, like getting corporations to come back to America after they stole all the jobs and took them overseas. He's talking about creating new jobs, all kinds of new jobs. We'll see what he does, but that's what he's saying. And he's blaming these multinational corporations and the globalists for destroying the American economy. And believe me, the economy was destroyed, and it still is destroyed because all the employment numbers are complete baloney about the recovery. Yes. The Messiah says, I just want to remind you as I exit from the White House into my new role as the prophet of liberalism that we brought back the economy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't even get close. It wasn't even close. It's still horrific. Part-time jobs, jobs that have endings, little gigs, contract gigs. These are all counted in employment figures. It's all complete crock because the objective of globalism, and people find this hard to believe, is to torpedo economies. That's the op, folks. Torpedo economies. For example, let's say we're going to fry. The world is going to fry. And the only solution is that every country in the world has to sign on and agree to produce far less energy than they are producing now. That's the only way we can stop from frying as a planet. That means lower energy production, fewer jobs, economy goes into the tank, complete tank. But we call that utopia. This is the coming era. This is what we're going to do to save the planet, blah, 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 blah. So a bunch of fake science is rolled out. And on that basis, that's what the globalists are going to do if they're not stopped. They're going to torpedo every single economy in the world because you take over people by first making them weak, confused, helpless, debilitated. That's the strategy. It's right in front of your face. It's not anywhere. It's not over here. It's not over there. It's not up here. It's not down there. The strategy is right in front of your face. This is what the globalists are doing. So this guy, this wild talking crazy cowboy comes along and says, nah, we don't want any of that. Plus, all you media people are liars. You're chronic liars. That's what you are. Everybody knows it. Nobody's been willing to say it until now, but I'm running for president, and I'm going to say you're all liars. Complete liars. From the tips of your toes all the way to the top of your head. That's all you do is lie. And then you lie some more, and then you lie some more. And that's what you do. And that's why you're helping to destroy the country, because you're hiding the truth from people about what's happened. The globalist takeover. And so this fast-talking cowboy suddenly says, we're going to stop all that. You people want jobs. I know you want jobs to come back. I know you're hurting, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to prevent big corporations from taking jobs out of America overseas, which is part of the globalist plan. And we're going to bring some of those companies back so the jobs are here, which is the anti-globalist plan. That's what he said. He didn't just say it once. He said it many times, over and over and over and over, until even Bernie Sanders began to speculate that maybe this guy, Trump, actually was serious, in which case Bernie said at a breakfast after the election was over, hey, if he means what he says, I would be willing to work with him on the issue of globalism and jobs. We'll see. Very soon, we'll see, folks. But just the whiff and the whisper and the possibility that Trump might be against globalism is making people shake in their boots. The scum of the media, who are complete slaves to the globalist agenda. the globalist corporations who have been feasting off the American people as consumers for God knows how long without giving them jobs because they're taking those jobs overseas. Slave labor, no environmental controls of any kind. Sure. This is what Trump has been talking about. But of course, the academicians and the reporters say, and the politicians say, he doesn't mean any of this. He couldn't mean any of this. This is all just a fabrication, just a lie. See? He's just telling one lie after another. Well, if he's telling one lie after another, then he's not going to do anything to injure globalism, right? Correct? That's what you mean when you say he's a liar. So what are you so worried about? Why are you so exercised and worked up and afraid and terrorized and panicked that this guy who's coming in as the president, whom you say is not going to really do anything about globalism, then what are you worried about? Why are you shaking in your pants every night and drinking yourself to sleep? Tell me, I'd love to know. I would really love to know. And the answer is very simple. No one with access to major media, with significant access, is permitted to speak out vociferously against the globalist agenda or identify what that agenda is or point fingers at corporations or politicians, et cetera, et cetera. And some actual conservatives have come out of the woodwork who never spoke about globalism before. Have you noticed that all of a sudden in the last 6 months? They woke up and said, yes, globalism is the enemy, and and Trump is talking about destroying globalism and replacing it with a nationality or nationalism or America. Wow, this is incredible. You know, why didn't you recognize 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when Romney was running and Bush was running, that they were arch globalists? Why didn't you say anything then? Okay, you woke up now. You got on the bandwagon now. Good for you. This is the fear that Trump is not just lying through his teeth, that he actually is going to do something and has already begun doing it, bringing jobs back to America, preventing them from leaving. And he hasn't even walked into the White House yet. So we'll see. I'm not betting the house or the farm or any of this. I'm not saying the greatness has arrived and everything is now wonderful, you know, hope and change. I'm not going back there. Don't go back there, okay? Do not go back there. The movement of millions of people who have opted for Trump and the millions more around the world who are also waking up to the idea of their nation as opposed to the globe, the global village. These people, you are the force. You are the basic, the major, the top, the inside, the outside, the left, the right, everything force. You are the force. You are what can keep this thing going and expanding by demanding that, in fact, we get rid of the scourge of the globalists that has taken over the world and has been, you know, determined to run it completely. And we haven't even gotten into the technocracy aspect of it, which is a whole other thing. That you eventually, the plan being that you, as an individual human being, would have a card, and this would be an energy card, and you would carry it around with you. And every time you bought something, you would stick out the card, and they would take it and do something, you know, put it in the machine, and subtracted from your energy quota would be the cost of what it took to produce that particular item that you're buying. The cost in energy, not in dollars, in energy. You understand? You get an energy quota. Everybody has an energy quota and a card. And this is the control. And when the card runs out for the period of time for which it's intended, that particular aspect, you're done. No more energy. Got to save the planet, got to do this, can't let everybody fry. Global warming is going to destroy us all, blah, 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 blah. I put an article up today on No More Fake News. New York Times, January 26th, 1989. No evidence whatsoever of global warming trend in America. Study was done, you know, federal funded in-house study. No warming over the last 100 years. no warming over the last 100 years. But of course, no, we can't pay attention to that because that has to be wrong. It has to be wrong because we have to have carbon taxes and we have to have cap and trade and we have to have lowered energy production, vastly lowered energy production in economies all over the world that will torpedo these economies and the people, meaning us, who are, trying to make a living. John Rappaport, last segment here in the fourth hour, sitting in for Alex. So all of this is made possible by the store at InfoWars. Free shipping, store-wide right now. All new specials live at InfoWarsStore.com. And this will be extended until these products sell out. Living Defense, 30% off. Super Male Vitality, 30% off. Silver Bullet, Colloidal Silver, 50 off. Brain Force Plus, 33% off. Winter Sun Vitamin D, 25% off. Survival Shield X2, 30% off. And BioTrue Selenium, 30% off. As well as Liver Shield, Liver Cleanse Formula, 20% off. And when you get Liver Shield Plus, the Oxy Powder Colon Cleanser, together in the Advanced Liver Cleanse Pack, the total comes to a massive 30% off. So these sales are being extended at InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, until they're gone. Free shipping store-wide, all new specials. Get to it, folks. Excellent products for you, and in the process, you support this operation called InfoWars, where you are getting all this information. So don't pass it up. Okay, a few minutes left here. I started off talking about reporters and editors and how they recognize each other. That's really what it is. They smell the same smell. I mean, it really comes down to that. Oh, yeah, he's one of us. Sure, he talks like us. I can tell he thinks like us. He acts like us. His attitude is like us. It's kind of like a semi-high IQ mucus, okay? That's what I think of it as. Oh, yes, I'm spotting in Jones, our newest candidate for a reporter, semi-high IQ mucus. Yes, very good. Yes, I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine, one of us. And they are going all in, risking everything, major media I'm talking about, with the most fantastical stories, that are just ridiculous. The Russians and the Putin and this and that and all the fake news sites are really working for who? Russia? What? They are going crazy. Literally crazy, though, because they sense the end is near. The seesaw has swung. More people are now getting their actual news, which they are reading and listening and watching, not just, oh, I see, from independent media, than from mainstream media. That's just the way it is. Why is that? Because people are sick and tired, not just of the lies, which are endless, but the way they're being fed the lies, as if these people who are doing it are in charge. They've somehow been given the royal key to the royal chamber, and they're in charge, and they're not. And they're losing their livelihoods and their pants and their paychecks and everything that they hold dear, and their reputations are just going down the drain. And you and I and a lot of us are helping that to happen. More coming, you can be sure, on InfoWars. John Rappaport, thanks for being here in the fourth hour.
InfoWars has more than 15 YouTube channels and about 3 million subscribers. Our main channel has 1.854 or 1,854,000 plus subscribers. Now, they've been gaming the system for a long time to shut down nationalistic or patriotic media, saying we're right-wingers, saying we're extremists. Well, it doesn't matter who we are. We have a right to free speech, don't we? As long as we don't violate the rules. Well, now Zuckerberg has come out and said he's going to restrict conservative news like Communist China does, calling it fake news. And Google, that owns YouTube, has announced, and they've done it now 2 weeks ago, that they're going to basically make you click the bell in your notifications. We're going to show you how to do that, or you won't get all the channels that you've subscribed to, and you won't get the videos. Now, why are they doing this? It's more than just censoring. They want you to see the videos that they feed you below and beside the videos you're looking at that are corporately sponsored so they make more money. They're taking the you out of YouTube. So we're in this information war, and it's more important than ever that you promote the videos, that you like the videos, and that you send them on to others. Because the answer to the attempt to shut us down and restrict free speech that's openly now happening is for us to redouble our efforts. We're winning the culture war as true classical liberals that made this country great. We're restoring the Renaissance. So again, if you want to get our videos, so you can make your decision whether you want to see them or not. After all, that's why you subscribed. YouTube's had this since they started 12 years ago or whatever it was. And they're fundamentally changing it so you don't get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is promoting fake news and trash news and establishment news. It's killing real independent news. But we, the people, by taking action, can break the back of this system. So please click on the bell so you get the notifications and so you get in your feed the videos and channels you've subscribed to. I'm Alex Jones for Infowars.com.
John Rappaport back in the fourth hour, sitting in for Alex. There were about 6 different ways I could have gone today, and I'm still maneuvering here because here's the deal, folks. I've been around the reporting game for over 30 years, so I've known lots of reporters. Some editors, people who work in the mainstream. What are they doing? What's their psychology? First of all, they're talent spotted. You understand what that means? Somebody picks him out and says, this kid is fairly smart. He's kind of bright. Let's bring him in. It could be good. And he believes what we want our people to believe already. He believes in globalism. He believes that we're all one happy, sappy global village. He believes that parents should be taking care of their own kids if the state wants to intervene. He believes that communities should be planned by the United Nations if necessary. People live in tiny little spaces and so forth, kick people who are living out in so that migrants can live there. You know, he's already on board, all right? This is key and crucial. They bring these people in. They can smell them a mile away. So can you, so can I, so can they. Guy walks through the door, he's 24 years old. He's got a master's degree from, Jerk University. And, oh, yes, very good. Sits down, and right away, the editor who's interviewing him or the personnel guy at the New York Times or wherever it is, sniff, sniff, sniff. Yep, I can smell this guy is a liberal, which means he's really a globalist, and he's a communist, and he's a socialist. And he doesn't even have to know what that means, the reporter. He just thinks he does, so that's what we want. And then he can write articles from the angle that we want him to write articles from, and that's how the game works. How do you think universities over the last 40 or 50 years have become so stacked full of socialist idiots and scum? I mean, real scum. Scum from here down to the ground. These are the people who are saying there's no such thing as the individual. The individual is extinct. There is only the collective, and everything is for the good of the greatest number of people and so forth. And, blah, 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 blah. Students' parents are paying, whatever it is, 50 grand a year for this. Or the student is taking out a loan that he'll never be able to repay. The university is soaking the kid because they can, because the government is guaranteeing the loan program. It's a total hype. It's a joke. There is no more education, higher education in America. It's gone, except in a few technical fields. It's absolutely gone. It's done. What has taken the place of it is globalists, socialists. They meet, you see. And the people that hire those instructors and professors, they can smell them too. Oh, yeah, I get that whiff of strong socialism from this guy. Yeah. And he's kind of nasty. And he looks